Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and today I'm bringing you guys an updated list. This is my new top 5 favorite premium ships list. I'm not including any ships that are on the prior list. I still do love those ships, I still do play those ships a lot, and these are just the premium ships that I'm really enjoying right now, that I'm playing a whole lot of, and I'm just having fun with them, and that's what these ships are. They're just fun ships that I enjoy to play, and I think they are worth the grind to get them. Some of these are just, normal premium ships that you buy. Some of these are, Research Bureau ships and steel ships. But anyway, let's just go ahead and dive right on in, starting at number 5, which is the Tier 9 Premium German Cruiser, the Siegfried. The Siegfried right now is an absolute blast to play. It's a cruiser, well, it's a super cruiser, with 15-inch guns. So it's the Aegir with 15-inch guns, and actually really good secondaries for a cruiser. This is the one cruiser that is actually viable to put a secondary build on. You can get the secondaries out to 11.3 kilometers, and if you also use a stealth build on top of a secondary build, your detection range is your secondary range. So you can have all types of shenanigans with that. And on top of that, the main guns are very, 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 very good. They're 15-inch guns. They're Bismarck's guns, but they have the accuracy of a cruiser. So, yeah, battleship caliber guns with cruiser accuracy and a sub 30-second reload time. These guns are fantastic. Now, this does also lead to the Siegfried being kind of memey, because they are battleship caliber guns, but you only have 6 shells. And, sometimes if people are smart, they can angle to you, and then, well, you gotta resort to using HE, and then you only have 6 shells, and the HE isn't all that fantastic. But when people slip up, you can absolutely punish the crap out of them with these guns. Not to mention the ship is pretty darn maneuverable. It's fairly well protected. It's not the toughest super cruiser. It has a 25mm bow with no icebreaker or anything. It does have a 90mm upper belt though, so if you do angle properly, you can bounce plenty of shells off of your broadside. Oh, and it has torpedoes and hydroacoustic search, and a fighter plane too. So yeah, it's got a lot going for it. It's a really fun ship. It's not like ultra competitive or anything. You probably won't find it too much in like Tier 9 ranked, or if Clan Battles ever goes to Tier 9. It won't show up a lot there, but it's a really fun ship. It is a Research Bureau ship, so you do have a bit of a grind in front of you, but in my personal opinion, I think it's worth it. It's incredibly fun, and you can have a blast with it, and I enjoy it. Alright, moving on to number 4, we have the Tier 7 Premium US Battleship, the California. Yeah, the California. This ship, I didn't think I was going to like this ship as much as I did when it first came out, because it had the potential to be a pretty decent brawler with, well, maybe not a brawler, but a pretty good secondary ship if they had maybe cranked the speed up a bit. But as we all know, speed is something that Wargaming is very, very, very hesitant to ever budge on for some reason, especially if the ship actually existed like the California did. So this is a real ship too, mind you. This is a post-Pearl Harbor refit, and it's very, very chunky. She a little thick there. Basically, I do believe this is what the new American battleship line is going to be like, because she has 12 14-inch guns at Tier 7. And 14-inch guns, it's not the largest caliber at Tier 7, but with 12 of them and pretty darn good accuracy, this ship can really bring the pain. For example, in the game you're watching right now, this is a Tier 9 game, and I actually finished top of my team because the enemy ships, I mean, with the accuracy of the guns, when they slip up, you can punish them quite easily. The enemy Iowa, I citadeled him I think 2 or 3 times because he kept showing me broadside, and with enough 14-inch guns, I mean, yeah, some of it's going to stick when you're throwing it at the enemy team. Now, you can also equip the spotter plane on here and get the range out to 27 kilometers, which is very, very, very nice in a Tier 7, but the reload time is, 33 seconds for 14-inch guns, but you do have a lot of 14-inch guns. It's basically a Tier 7 Montana. You have a really heavy broadside, really good accuracy, really good dispersion, but the ship is, of course, ungodly slow, but the range does kind of make up for that. And the armor, she's chunky, but she's not really tanky. She can eat, if you're angled, you can bounce a decent bit of shells that get thrown at you, but of course, being Tier 7, you can be up to Tier 9, and then At that point, the caliber of guns that you're going to be facing from battleships it kind of just hurts no matter what. And of course, the HE spam up there is plenty worse than down at tier 7, and with a slow ship and a chunky ship at that, you're not going to have the best of times there. But when you get those shots in where you can absolutely delete cruisers and even some battleships that mess up, it is incredibly satisfying, and that's really why I like the California, and plus, she was real. It's a historic ship, and it's always nice to see those get added into the game. Alright, moving on down to number 3, we have the Tier 8 Premium German Cruiser, the Mainz. So the Mainz is, well, fun. It's fun, it's fairly rewarding to play. It's a hipper hull with light cruiser guns. So you got a heavy cruiser hull with light cruiser guns. The armor's a bit thinner in some places. And you get 12 guns, 12 German light cruiser guns with a 6-second reload time. So they're German guns with German HE pens, so you don't need IFHE. They reload in about 6 seconds. They have a pretty darn good chance of starting a fire per shell. And you also get hydroacoustic search and torpedoes on top of that. Pretty decent torpedoes, actually. But the Mainz is really fun when you're throttle juking, and this is the ship that I really got good with throttle juking on. And it's pretty incredible what you can do with throttle juking and a ship with guns of this caliber. They are very nice. They have a pretty decent range at 17 kilometers, but when you do get up to tier 9, again, you run into that problem of, okay, every other ship has way more range than I do, so you gotta put yourself in some kind of dangerous situations to get your guns going. But when you do get those guns going, you get in a good position, you get throttle juking. It's a pretty rewarding ship to play. And, it does have the hipper hull, so you do eat those odd citadels every now and then. But when you are avoiding that and throttle juking, it's incredibly rewarding to play and pretty fun too. And the guns have very good velocity on the shells. The arcs are very flat, which means it's pretty easy to deal with DDs and such. It's not like the American cruisers where those shells just feel like they, take an orbit around the Earth once or twice and then they come back down. Mainz has been described as what the Cleveland wishes it was, and that's pretty accurate. It doesn't have radar like the Cleveland, though. But still, it's a pretty fun ship to play. I'm enjoying it. It kind of got me into light cruisers. I didn't play very many light cruisers before the Mainz. I was playing mostly heavy cruisers because, a lot of the things you learn playing battleships translate over to heavy cruisers pretty well. But the Mainz opened up my eyes to the world of light cruisers, and I've been slowly expanding my way into there ever since. Alright, moving on down to number 2, we have the Tier 8 Premium German battleship, the Oden. I'm sure nobody saw this coming. So the Oden is a fantastic ship. It has been called weak, nerfed, has been shown up as an example of Russian bias. But if you ever actually get the Oden, which I don't know if it's coming back around for sale in the premium shop or not, we'll see. It's a really fun ship to play. It's a really strong ship. And the source of a lot of the controversy around the Oden is that it has tier 5 levels of health. It only has 55,000 hit points in a tier 8 battleship. But the armor on the Oden is absolutely amazing. You have an icebreaker bow, you have a 90mm stern, and then you get German belt armor with turtleback armor. So the ship is incredibly tough. And she has some great secondaries too. You can get them out to around 11.6 kilometers. Her main battery guns, they are small for her tier, but they have a 22-second reload time on those guns. And she also has hydroacoustic search and fighter plane and torpedoes. She literally has just about every single gimmick that the German battleship line has bolted onto one ship. And it's fantastic to play. It's quick, it's maneuverable, and I've described it more as a super cruiser, and it's better to play it as a super cruiser rather than something like the Tirpitz, because yeah, it can't tank as well when HE gets thrown at it because of its low health. But if you play it like a super cruiser, it's much more rewarding. It can tank, it can angle, it can deal with AP pretty well. But, again, something like the Tirpitz, the Bismarck would be better overall for tanking because they have more health and a similar armor layout to the Oden. Oden actually has a better armor layout than both the Bismarck and the Tirpitz. because of that 90mm stern strip and that full-on icebreaker bow that it has. And it's so much fun to play. It's great to get in close with the ship because I guess everyone just underestimates it still because they saw, you know, all the nerfs that it got during testing, and that's the reputation that it has. But this ship is quite fearsome. It's a blast to play, especially if you have Lucians, because then you can get his secondary armament expert talent activated, and now your secondaries have an even quicker reload time. And again, it's fun to play. I've been having a blast in it. It's a brawling battleship. I love brawling battleships. I love it. And let's go on now to number 1, which is the Tier 10 Premium Japanese battleship, the Shikishima. Do I need to say anything else? I mean, the sound effect is worth it in and of itself. So the Shikishima, the Tier 10 Japanese steel battleship. So yes, this did take me, of course, years to save up this steel. Well, maybe not years. It's more like a year and a half of playing clan battles, the Snowflake event, and ranked. But oh my God, am I happy with my purchase? This is just—it's a fantastic ship, and it does have 20-inch guns. But at the end of the day, these 20-inch guns don't do anything that Yami's guns can't do. And Yami does it better because she has more guns, and more guns is always, you know, it's always better to throw more at the target than less. Even though the Shikishima does have super cruiser dispersion, with the caliber of the guns, honestly, you get more overpins than anything. But every now and then you get that one shell that does like 19,000 damage, and it's hilarious. On top of that, she has way better secondaries than the Yamato. She has basically a Harugumo strapped to either side of her hull. She has the highest DPM out of any of the Tier 10 battleships in terms of secondaries. And since they are the Harugumo turrets, they do pin 30mm of armor. They don't pin 32. But still, pinning 30mm of armor will get you through every single destroyer that could sneak up on you. A lot of the cruisers at Tier 10. But of course, when it comes down to battleships, yeah, you are lacking there in comparison to like the Germans. But with the rate of fire and the fire chance that these secondaries have, it more than make up for that. And plus, the Shikishima is also one of the few Japanese battleships that have pretty darn good AA. And she has, because of those Harugumo turrets, she has the potential to be quite a pain for CVs if they aren't mindful of her. But of course, the downsides are that she has the Yami hull, which means she has the cheeky area, to where even when you are angled, you can still get Citadel through there. And again, the guns are a blessing and a curse, because you can blap ships that slip up. But again, you're going to get a whole lot of overpins, which is, you know, always a little sad. But the gun sound effect is absolutely amazing. And if someone made like a 10-hour loop of the Shikishima gun sound effect, I would probably have it on most of the time that I'm editing. But seriously, they're like, bravo to whoever at Wargaming, the sound department, that came up with this sound effect. It's beautiful. I love it. It's one of the main reasons why I got the Shikishima, not even gonna lie. But it's a fun ship, and you know, as far as getting this before like the Stalingrad, I wouldn't do that. Stalingrad is still like the most in-demand cruiser for competitive play, so I would get the Stalingrad first, and then, you know, I would maybe get this second. I haven't got the Bagon yet, but I mean, this was, in my opinion, a much better choice than the Bagon, because the Bagon's a good BB, don't get me wrong, but I mean, 20-inch guns, that sound effect, and these amazing secondaries, and decent AA too on top of that, it's a pretty good choice in my opinion as a second steel ship. Alright guys, that's my top 5 current favorite premium ships in the game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What are your 5 favorite premium ships? Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Well, I mean, it's my personal list, so I guess you can't really disagree with my personal opinion. But, you know, guys, you guys know what I mean. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We just passed 17,300 subs, and we're on our way to 20,000 subscribers. I'm losing my ability to speak, so that means it's time to end the video. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one.